All right. Hello, I am Ethan McNeely. I am a member of Phi Theta Kappa, an officer, and today I'm going to be interviewing Stacy Heisler, who is from Counseling and Career Development. I just wanted to put like a particular emphasis on this because I've used counseling and career development before when I came to CC. Like I did not really know what I wanted to do when I came to CC, and I went to counseling and career development. And eventually, through a series of like meetings, I ended up, choosing the field of economics to go through, which I was like 20, I was like 22, I'm 23 now, and like just a being able to like change the direction of where you're going, like these services, I believe that they're extremely important. So I'm going to turn that over to Stacy. Stacy, would you feel like introducing yourself?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for having me, Ethan. It's a great privilege to be here, and I'm excited to tell you all about our services in counseling career development. We provide mental health counseling, including career counseling, because we see that as potentially an issue that certainly creates a lot of anxiety, and it's an important issue. And so we provide these services by appointment. Um, and all of our services are confidential and they are free. So there's no charge to you. So it's a great way to get access to some really competent and experienced mental health professionals. We've all specialized in working with college students, and each of us who work in that department have a great deal of experience and training. And we're a small department, but I think we accomplish a lot. We see a lot of students. We help a lot, I believe, I hope. We also do programming for our faculty and our staff too, so that they can be better informed and helping the students in their classroom, and also for their own benefit, their own growth and development. So those are some of the things that we do on a regular basis, whether it's during COVID, as we are now, completely remote, or whether it's when we're back to face.
All right. So say I'm like a student in who's like suffering some mental health issues. And I want to get into contact with you guys. What are the steps that I would take to go and talk to you guys?
Great, good question. The first thing you'd want to do is just call our office at the number is 234-4130, and one of our staff is going to pick up that call and get you an appointment. During the summer months and even into this week, possibly some of next week, we've been doing all of our work by phone while we've been getting a whole new system that up and running. So there's been a bit of a delay in providing video, but we are right there on the edge now. Hopefully by this time next week, we will be up and running by video. But if you call and you make an appointment, which we'll move to like a 1-hour session. And then you can expect, just as if when you go to the doctor and they tell you to come early and fill out some paperwork, you're going to go online. We're going to give you the instructions to do that. And you'll be filling out quite a bit of paperwork, but give yourself at least 30 minutes to fill it out. So an intake, some just some assessment, about any of the symptoms you might be experiencing, gathering that information that helps us to better serve your needs in the long run. So we would walk you through those steps, and it's all done online. You're given a link to our video. At the time of your appointment, then you're going in on a system. It's called DoxyMe, which means, so it's not Zoom, but it works very, very similar. It's easy to use, and you are actually directed to our waiting room, a virtual waiting room. Then that's where we essentially kind of come out and get you and click you into the right counselor, and then the session will start. So what you could expect in a first session is an intake. So that's just gathering a lot of information, what's bringing you to counseling, and then what is it that you want to accomplish, and just getting to know each other and setting some goals, and then moving forward from there. So.
Okay. And I know you guys do not only mental health but also career development, as in your name. Can you go more in depth about career development?
Sure. It's going to be the same process whether you're coming for personal concern or career counseling concern. Although, again, as I mentioned, career counseling is a personal concern. It's really well suited if you've done some career exploration already, but maybe there's something in the way of making a decision. So we want to take a look at what that is. What is creating that anxiety that you're experiencing, or maybe well-intentioned family members or friends are giving you all kinds of advice, and it's difficult and it's confusing, and that's creating some turmoil perhaps around that. So that's who it's most appropriate for. You've done some exploration, but you're not quite there yet, right? And then what we will do is, again, that intake process, get a good understanding of not only maybe your employment history, but your family's employment history, to kind of get a sense of all those influences. And then we'll do some different assessments. So we use some that are kind of looking at perhaps your personality, your values, which are really, really important. What are your career values, your life values? What are some of your leisure activities? So we're doing a whole self-assessment, and then we'll do what's called an interest inventory. So you're actually going through and taking a look at not what you are good at. We're not focusing on that, right? We're focusing on what are you interested in, because we do believe that if you're fully interested and engaged, you will become strong in that area, correct? So sometimes people limit themselves thinking, well, I'm not good at that, so they don't want to try it, but that's not the direction we want to encourage. So, and filling out an interest inventory and going over those results, and then learning about how do I know about the labor market? How do I get that information? Is this a growing field? What kind of a salary can I earn? Don't want to start there because that will really limit your prospects, but and how to get, really how to do that research and get that information. So it takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of homework, so to speak. It doesn't get graded, but it requires a real strong partnership alliance between the counselor and the student who's come in for that help. And it's not a passive experience. You got to really be engaged, right? And to get the best results. And sometimes, might take a break from it, do some research, do some informational interviewing, and then come back, in a month or maybe even a semester. I'm going to take these classes and see how that is. So it can be a kind of an off and on experience as well over a couple of semesters too. That's fine. It's not an easy decision, as I said. So I hope that helps.
So, are there any other additional resources or services that you haven't mentioned yet?
Um, well, during when we were face to face, we had a very kind of extensive workshop series. We've kind of looked into that and how we might be able to do some of that virtually. There's, so you might be seeing those offerings coming up, maybe a much shorter version, or maybe a series of videos in that area. We're not sure, but these were all based on developing skill sets for managing anxiety or symptoms of depression, and how to maintain your mental health. Develop to stress tolerance skills, how to strengthen your relationships. So, we still need to kind of find a good venue for that, so we can bring some of those kind of what we call psychoeducational experiences, so that you're really learning, it's more something about prevention of mental health issues, or if you're experiencing some of those, how can you help to manage?
Okay, what would you say is the best way to contact counseling and career development?
Well, call the phone number, the 234-4130, and they will set up an appointment for you. Right now, there's really not much of a wait, but by mid-semester that generally changes. So please don't hesitate. Know that we can get you in quickly. And really, that's really the only way that we're accepting appointments. It's all by appointment this time. However, I will share this. This is a very new development. Sometimes if a student is on campus, they're taking classes, and perhaps they're developing some overwhelming symptoms right there in the spot during the day, or they've had some form of an experience they're bringing into the class that day. They're maybe feeling like they're going to have a panic attack, or perhaps they're even thinking of suicide, having some thoughts, dark thoughts there. Then we've made some time available Monday through Thursday. We will be on campus between the hours of 9 and 11. So it is a limited time, but you can come in and you can see a counselor in that same day. We'd love to be able to expand that. It takes some additional support staff to be available. So we'll monitor and see how that goes with the current situation with COVID-19 and very limited staff on campus, but we are providing that. And also, if you go to our website, you can find other resources if you're looking, if you're in crisis, it's good to have those numbers available. You might not be thinking to go to a website, but that's where you can find the National Suicide Hotline and the distress COVID-19, I can't think of the exact word, disaster stress hotline for this current pandemic situation. That contact information is available there as well.
All right. I also just wanted to remind anyone who might be in the live audience that if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll have them communicated to me, and I can ask them for you. So if you want to get involved and you're in the audience, then feel free.
I could tell you a little bit about our staff, Ethan.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so there are 3 of us, and we work full time. And Emily Nicely is a psychologist and a licensed counselor, so she's duly licensed, and she has been with our staff for over 10 years now. Andre Fields is also a licensed psychologist. He's been around the same time, I think, as Emily has been, and myself, and I'm a licensed professional counselor. We all have a lot of, we have differences in the way that we practice, but I think all of our differences complement one another very well. Emily has a particular area of interest in mindfulness-based practices. So do I as well. And Andre is more cognitive behavioral. Maybe some of you who've taken a Psychology 201 class might know what that means. If you have any questions to ask, feel free what those orientations are. I myself practice a lot of that mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapy. So we're really just looking at how can the way we think affect, our behavior and our emotions. And so we all have our own different little way of working with students, but lots of years of experience and lived experience, and I think you'll find us all quite approachable.
Yeah,
we're really here to help you. We want to.
Yeah. So when are your I don't know if you've mentioned your office hours. I know you mentioned your suicide hotline, but can I have your office hours?
Sure. We are available for appointment. The office opens at 8. We start our appointments at 9, a little later just based on COVID. And then our office closes at 6:30. Last appointments are scheduled at 5:30. And that's Monday through Thursday. So Fridays we close at 5, which is pretty standard for all the campus. So essentially, answering the phones 8 to 6:30 Monday through Thursday, and 8 to 5 on Fridays, and
Right.
not on the weekends. That's pretty standard for the campus.
So is everything all virtual, or do you have like some in-person services?
Yeah, everything we're practicing right now is virtual. And the reason for that is, if we're required to wear personal protective, PPE masks, it's really difficult to do, to really develop that relationship when you're wearing a face mask. You can't, you know, um, read nonverbals very well. It's difficult in a 50-minute session to sit, in with a face mask on, face to face. I mean, it's not something that you're going to see much of in the community either. I think if you were to seek services out, in the community, it's going to be very difficult to find somebody who might, be working face to face. And even then, it's going to be at a 6-foot distance. It's just a very challenging environment for, to create face to face when you're working in therapy. So that will continue till, of course, we don't know when. But I will say that it's very effective. I mean, all of the research that exists around they call telemental health has been, that it is found to be as effective, if not more effective for some, than the face-to-face. It's also a very convenient way when you think about persons who may be living in a rural area, persons who maybe, it would be quite a commute to get in, and it's very simple, immediate. I think one of the biggest barriers is just you've got to have a place that's private, where your roommates aren't, sitting next to you on the couch, or, a parent isn't nearby. You want to have that kind of privacy. So we found a lot of our students are, sometimes they're talking to us from a parked car or parking lot, or, out on the porch or in the yard. And, if you can find that private spot, it's really required. But, and of course, then if there's any issues regarding, the technology needs, we can help you with that as well. So that you can get access to those services, whether it's internet access, or if you need a laptop or, a device, you can use your phone, which is fine. It's not as optimal as, using a laptop or a monitor with a camera, but using a phone, if that's what you have and that's your access, that's fine too. We can work with that. So.
All right. Well, it looks like we have no questions. I'm gonna let this wrap up. Thank you, Stacy, for having us. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I really think that a lot of the information you gave is going to be important for people. So
Great. Thank you, Ethan, for the opportunity, and to all of PTK.